Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the Week 7 predictions. Me and Chris already played, so it actually gives me a little bit more to talk about than usual, because usually I can't go too in-depth for my games, but me and Chris played today. I won a 2-1. Could have ended in 2, but I made a couple wrong plays, led to some unfortunate events, but anyway. Me and Chris played. Big dub for your boy. Keeping the undefeated streak going. Just a weird game. He was fully expecting the Terra Fairy. I brought Terra Dark, and Dunsparce coming really like Spectre just didn't get to do anything this game, and that was the plan. Low punny was a bit of an issue, definitely the biggest threat on his team, but we managed it well. Low kicks was a pretty big issue as well, but I feel like I really took care of the threats. Even the wheezing coming took care of that, so yeah. Definitely a bit scary, but took care of it, and yeah. I want some music on, man. Let's do this. Oh yeah. So yeah. The game was just very stressful, very long game. Game 2, I felt like I should have won. I got very frustrated in my video. Apologies, but in the moment, got very frustrated, but came home with the dub. For Chris, 4-3, you know, I mean, last season you were 11-3, now you've already tied the amount of losses you had last season, but last season you had a very good season, but, you know, Chris, I think at the beginning, before the season started, I said 9-5. He's still on road for that. I mean, it's only the first half of the season. He has 3 losses. I mean, even if he goes 8-6, like, that's not bad by any means. It's still very much playoff bound. But yeah, Chris, just I don't know. It was a good game. I can't really be too mad about it. There was definitely a lot of times in my video, especially where I thought he was gonna double and he just wasn't doubling. I think he was getting in his own head a lot, because until you show me that you're making that play, like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for me to predict a play that you're not making, especially when you haven't made it 2 games in a row. So I think Chris definitely could have been more aggressive with the doubling. Every time Spectre is out, I always went Gambit or Dunsparce, which is free low punny switch in. So yeah, I think if Chris just played a little bit more aggressively, he definitely could have taken the set. But yeah, that's besides the point. We'll move on to the next game. Wu versus JC. So off matchup, Wu doesn't really have a Pidgeot switch in. I mean, he has ways of killing Pidgeot, but he doesn't have a switch in, so Pidgeot looks pretty crazy here. Jolteon looks insane this game. I mean, obviously he has Goodra, but I mean, with a Cyclizar that can drop Dragon Claw on Air Draco and then a Darm, I think Goodra should be taken care of. He might honestly be Sap Sipper this game just to stop Lo Chen. I wouldn't doubt it. I think this is pretty back and forth, but I think a lot of it is reliant on Jolteon. I think JC will be able to play around it. So I'm gonna give it to Jay, but I think Wu can take game off, but I'll do 2-0. Nothing against Wu, but I think Goodra's going to be a pretty big issue for him, because again, Cyclizar doesn't really have damage output, and Darm is like your only way of killing it. So I guess he doesn't really have a Darm switch in, like Guard. I guess you have Guard, but you get Earthquake. I don't know. I'll give it to Jay. 2-0. It's a pretty aggressive 2-0 for no reason, but Jay's been having a pretty good season. Not that Wu hasn't been, but I'll do 2-1. I'll do 2-1. I think it's a good matchup. Next up, we have the stalled team versus Urshifu, which means Urshifu gets more kills. I mean, nothing on Preston's team can even remotely handle Urshifu. I mean, I think this is just another one of those games where you just Terra Dark it up and just click that funny wicked blow, because he can't even screens, and I mean Kong can like mock punch if he's Terra Dark, which can be a little bit an issue, but I mean, surely you can throw 5 mons at Kong and call it a day. So yeah, just Urshifu things. Next up, we have Noah versus Nick. Nick's been playing better, but I think this is a game that Noah can pretty easily take. I mean, Psychic Terrain with a Megalodios and a Farigiraf sounds pretty crazy. I mean, you can bring out Umbreon, but he has a Galvantula and a Annihilape. And Ghost Fighting coverage does absolutely insane into Nick's team. And he has a Ghost Fighting type. So this is a pretty easy 2-0 for me, because even if you bring Lander, he's Defiant, and you give it a boost. So yeah, I mean, this is... I mean, until Preston... I mean, Preston has shown some hope, but Nick, until he shows a little bit more hope... I mean, he's getting that ball rolling. He's doing a lot better, but he's like, say this is where he needs to be to start winning. He's like here. So I think if he just scoots it up a bit more, we can start having some conversations. But for now, I'll put Nick losing 2-0 because again, I just think Noah has a crazy matchup here. I mean, Lele, Zam. I mean, Lele's been having a decent season, Zam not so much. Farigiraf and Latias have been like top kill leaders in the league. And they're in Psychic Terrain, which is extremely scary. So this can be a really tough. And again, he's Terra Fairy, so like this Farigiraf's better run wild. This game, there's not a whole lot Nick can do. Next up, we have the Salford Swablues versus Taboon. Fluttermane, just 6-0s. You have Tusk, Pult, and Slowking that you can just kill. Hydreigon that you can just kill. Really the only thing he has to worry about is Cotton Down Eldegoss or a Tinkaton, which, I mean, you can just throw everything. I actually like Tabs' matchup here. I'll say 2-1 for Tabs, because I do... these coaches are bound to like throw some games at times. But actually, I muted my mic. I gotta stop doing that. But like realistically, like I don't know. Like Tusk is definitely an issue for Tabs. He doesn't have the best switch-ins, but you have a Ghost type and Fluttermane that can immune the Rapid Spin and the Close Combat, and then you have a Tornadus that can immune the Headlong Rush. You can always bring Hitmontop and or Incineroar for some Intimidation. Has Taz even brought Incineroar this season? I don't think he has. Could be wrong. I don't think he's brought it once. He brought it to one game. Alright. Maybe we see Incineroar, unlikely, just because it doesn't really do a whole lot. I mean, I guess it's a good Slowking switch in, but Slowking can have Surf or Scald. But even then, I think the combination of Dracovish and Fluttermane is going to be too much. Granted, he has Gastro for Storm Drain, but Tabs obviously knows that, and he also has a Roserade. So, Josh is going to be on the back foot here. Definitely going to have to find a way out. I mean, he does have Slowking, which has the Chili, which is good. He can control the weather a bit, but I think Taz's offense can be proved to be a little bit too much for the Salford Swablues here. Next up, we have Biff versus Sal. Chi-Yu versus Melmetal. Even if you Terra Flying, you're probably still dying to a Flamethrower or an Overheat. Meowscarada is a real issue. It outspeeds everything. Meowscarada is a real issue this game. What do you have for Meowscarada on this team? Your defensive Sylveon? I mean, I think this is a game where you have to bring webs. And Meowscarada is about to cook. I was about to say, do we see the debut of Nihilego? Because he's had it for the past like 2 weeks now, but I mean, I don't think you bring it. Because Bronzong and Jirachi are like the two best counters to it. So like, why would you bring it when Bronny's coming? You know what I mean? You just bring Bronzong and then Nihilego's useless. Bronzong's gonna go crazy this game. As long as it stays away from Cat, but even then he can body press predicting Cat if he really wanted to, so Bronzong's gonna be a real issue. But you have Meow and Tauros to deal with it, and again, at the end of the day, you can always just bring Ditto just to stall it out. Yeah, I think if Biff can use Bronzong really well and just keep Sticky Webs up, I think he can win. I mean, Sticky Webs are literally just for Cat, but I think you need it. Like, Cat is a massive issue. Yeah, I don't... Maybe a Bulk Up Glade. Bulk Up Glade could go crazy this game. Yeah, Bulk Up Mega Glade sounds pretty threatening. But I think Cat, I mean... Thing is, though, like, I mean, not we, but Biff has been, like, he's been having almost a duplicate season of Season 3. But the difference is like Chase last season, he's losing a lot, but his differential is crazy. Like, Croc is 1-5 minus 20. Biff is also 1-5, but he's minus 9. Like, he's making all of his games super close. He's just losing. And honestly, like, even though he's 1-5, I think he has a really good chance of making playoffs. Like, Chi-Yu had a fantastic debut, just fell so slightly short of that win against Croc. Now that he actually has that extra mon on his team and a usable Terra Captain, because Volcarona wasn't really helping that much, I think this is what he needed. And as scary as Meowscarada is in this game, I think Biff, if he can keep webs up and keep Bronny away from it, or predict it, switch in with like a body press, he can beat Sal. That being said, Sal probably knows that, and just me and Sal are just playing different right now, so I gotta give Sal the 2-0. But I do think there is a world where Biff can win this. It's just gonna be a lot. It's gonna come down to prep. He's just gotta find a way to shut down that Cat. I think he can do it. Next up, we have Tanner versus Mnaz. I think this is a weird game. I can't say too much because I actually helped Mnaz prep. I don't wanna leak anything, but I think with the prep I think on a matchup when you look at it, it's very not in Mnaz's favor because Scizor just runs amok. I mean, Kyurem dies to BP, Bulu dies to BP, Lycanroc dies to BP, Scolipede takes like 50%, Vanillix dies to BP. Like, granted, Volcanion 4 times resist, but you can always U-turn out. But I think what me and Mnaz cooked up, I think it has the potential to win. But I think this is going to be game 3. I think it's going to be game 3. I think this should be a close set, but because I'm biased for Mnaz this week, I think I got the dog Mnaz on this one. But I don't know. I think it'll be a really good game. Definitely a interesting matchup for sure. Last up, we have Chase versus Croc. These two had game of the season last season, so I would expect another banger. Obviously, Croc has been struggling a little bit this season, but this came off a pretty big win, and Chase came off a pretty harsh loss to Sal. So mental is in Croc's favor here. But it's a battle of the weathers. Tyranitar and Zard. Tyranitar absolutely destroys Zard in the 1v1. Zard's got to hit 2 focus blasts to kill it, which that's never happening. Granted, he has a Brute, an Awake, and a Stack Attacka, but I don't know. I think Brute is gonna. I mean, Brute has been carrying Croc this season. Like, Brute's been going to overtime. Just trying to think. Chase make any trades? I know he traded like Lurantis a while ago, but did he make any? I don't think he made any trades. You know, the only trade he made was Lurantis. Okay. I mean, alright. So what does Croc have for Dracozolt? Absolutely nothing. I mean, Deoxys speed might outspeed in the sand, but every time Deoxys is in, he can just go T-Tar. I mean, he can superpower, but superpower probably 2 shots T-Tar. Issue is he can Pursuit Trap Deoxys, but Deoxys can beat T-Tar in the one-on-one. I don't think calcing anything right now, but I'm gonna go on my gut and say Deoxys outspeeds Dracozolt in the sand. Drill, I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm gonna say Deoxys outspeeds Draco. So for Chase, I think as long as you can deal with Deoxys, I think it'll be fine. Again, I'll be honest, I completely forgot Croc had Deoxys on his team. He's brought it to what, 1 game? He brought it to 2 sets. I mean, he has not been bringing Deoxys like at all, which is so surprising. I thought he's gonna bring it a lot more, but there's certain mons on certain teams where coaches just aren't bringing it. It's like almost driving me crazy a bit. I mean, Chase has not been bringing the Infernape or the Excadrill, which is just crazy to me. Croc is not bringing Deoxys. Tanner is just not bringing Togekiss like ever. I mean, how many games he brought it to? Okay, we brought it to 3, so he's bringing it a little bit more than the others. Who else can I cook here? Biff? How often has he been bringing Dondozo? 3? And that was his first round draft pick? Who else? I mean, we already talked about Incineroar. Josh. He's been bringing a little bit of everything. He gets the pass. Nick wasn't bringing Rotom initially, but now he has been bringing it, so he gets a pass. No, Nick doesn't get a pass. He only brought Miltank to 1 fucking set. That is criminal. Miltank is the GOAT. Okay? What about Noah? Oh, he dropped Claw for Aerodactyl. I mean, Aerodactyl could come, but we'll see. What else? B only brought Licky to like 2 games. A little criminal. I think Licky's the GOAT. We'll see if Raikou makes his debut. I completely forgot to mention that. Raikou for Darm, that's a big one. Ninjask is never coming to a game ever. This is dead weight on Preston's team. I think the lack of Dax fun, a little surprising, but you know, who's been cooking? What about this? Zoroark? He brought Zoroark to like his first 4 games, and then like recently he just hasn't been bringing it. Scizor only came to 1 game, I think. Yeah, it only came against me. A little crazy. Granted, he didn't have the first like 3 weeks or 2 weeks, but still. Chris. Low Kicks is really the only one that's like super surprising. He's not bringing more often, but it's like whatever. Nah, I'm bringing all my guys. So yeah, I had to roast everyone a little bit there, but for Chase versus Croc, I'm gonna give it to Chase just because Chase has been having a better season, and T-Tar just wrecks this team. I mean, you get rocks up and then Croc just cries. So these are the predictions. If I were to give a game of the week, I would say me and Chris, but obviously we already played, so it's like a little whatever. Next up, I'll probably give it to Tanner Nunez. This can be a really good game. These are 2 coaches that have not played each other since Season 2, which is exciting because, you know, it's been almost like a year since they've played, right? Season 2 finals was around like October, November. So like, and they didn't play each other in playoffs. So like, they haven't played since like September of last year, like August. So yeah, almost a full year since MNAS and Tanner has played. That's insane. Almost a full year. Holy shit. So yeah, this is honestly, I would keep my eye out on this one because Tanner versus MNAS, we have not seen them play in a while. It's gonna be exciting, but that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the predictions. A little bit of a quick one, a little tired, but decided to get out anyway. After this week, it's a halfway point, and that means a lot. The road to playoffs begins. So I'll probably be making a lot of like playoff related videos and all that, but yeah, I'll do my like mid-season analysis of everyone, how their seasons are going, all that. But for me, I'm gonna get on out of here. Good game to Chris. That was a good set, and excited to see these games. Get on out of here. I'll see y'all latest.